Welcome to Inside Marketing with MarketSurge, your front row seat to the boldest ideas and smartest strategies in the marketing game. Your host is Reed Hansen, Chief Growth Officer at MarketSurge.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Marketing with MarketSurge. Today we're diving into the creative trenches with the guy who knows how to turn pixels into profits, Mike Vannelli. Mike is the head of creative at NV Creative, a video production agency that's created over 3,000 commercials and branded videos for startups, local businesses, and national brands alike. He's mastered the art of grabbing attention fast and keeping it in a world where thumb-stopping content is the currency of growth. So whether you're a marketer trying to crack video, a founder figuring out how to stand out, or just somebody who's tired of hearing you need more content without a strategy, this episode will hit different. We'll unpack what makes video actually convert, how Mike's team scales creative for hundreds of clients, and why production value isn't everything. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So Mike, I understand that you and your agency have produced over 3,000 videos,
Yes.
of high quality. Now that's a huge number. I mean, it's $3,000. We probably spent $3,000 before, but 3,000 videos is a lot of work. How did you get started in this world? Like, what got you to this point, and
Sure.
what drives you?
Yeah. So pretty much, I've always been interested in film and video when I was younger, and I knew I wanted to get into something like that. Once I realized, that I wanted to actually make money doing that, I kind of looked around to see, what was out there where people would pay me to do video stuff. So I actually started doing just music videos for kind of like local artists, and then I did that for years and ended up working with some pretty big name artists. But it was not boring, but it was kind of a lot of the same. So I wanted to kind of deviate into something that would be a little bit different. And so what ended up happening is I kind of thought, okay, what other avenue can I take where, again, people are giving me money to make video content? Well, back then it wasn't called video content. It was just called videos. So commercials kind of seemed like the other path to take. And so kind of started out just that was really when, and I'm going to sound old for saying this, but that was back when a lot of people were publishing to the iPhone App Store for the first time. And so that was kind of taking off, but a lot of people didn't know how to market it. So I kind of reached out to a lot of App Store developers and just said, hey, we're starting to do videos for, commercial content. So, if you need any free videos for your app, let me know and we can make them. And that was just kind of so we could build the portfolio. And then, we just kind of went from there, kind of growing and adding people to the team. And I think we just passed like about 5,000 videos. I was looking at our archive the other day. We've done everything from little mom and pops to Fortune 500 and everything in between.
So I don't feel like I have a real strong creative streak in me. I appreciate it, that quality in other people, but I don't necessarily possess it. So tell me a little bit about your creative process. So when you start working with a client, what sorts of questions do you ask to kind of get started, get the wheels rolling? What's that like? Do you expect them to come with ideas on what it should look like, or
Sure. Yeah. So we pretty much tell clients that they can be as involved as they want in the production and the creative process. We have clients that come to us with a script already in hand and saying, hey, can you do this? And we say, yes, we can. And we have some clients that come to us and say, we have no idea, we have zero ideas, but this is our product. Can you do something with it? And again, we say, yes, you can. And, again, it's like a wide spectrum of how involved they want to be and how involved they actually are. Because we've done it for so long and we've done so many videos, we know pretty much exactly how much the videos cost and what we can include in our base pricing. So, for instance, our our best service, or not our best service, but our most popular service that we have is just kind of a horizontal commercial explainer video, and it's 30 seconds. That's like the base price, and it's $500, and that's what we charge. It includes script writing. It includes up to 3 of our in-house actors, and it's all inclusive. So pretty much, like I said, if the client comes to us says I have 0 ideas, just do something, then they can. We're in the Los Angeles area, so obviously if they need specific kind of looking people, or if they need custom locations, then we can do that for them. But pretty much because for the video viewers, you can kind of see different, like a front door back there, and you kind of see an office back there. So we have a 5,000 square foot studio with a bunch of standing sets. And when we were building out our studio, we kind of thought, okay, what do people normally see in commercials? So we have like a house set, we have an office set. Off to the left of me is our cafe set. So pretty kind of like generic locations that you would see in commercials. But because we have like all of our writers and all of our actors and we own our own equipment, and we have our own sets. So our bandwidth is pretty, like, we have a very high bandwidth for projects. And because we do everything in house, we can also be very competitive with our pricing for what you get. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the long answer.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think this is really good information. I am not very well versed in this area. Do you? So obviously, these are, you film these videos. Do you work with clients that you never meet in person? Can this be fully remote?
Yeah, like process? I would say 95% of our client base is just fully remote. They either email us, or they message us on Fiverr, which that's our kind of main our main platform that we work with, and that's kind of where we like to do all of our projects, because it's pretty organized, and like the back end isn't handled by us; it's handled by the company, and so all of our pricing's laid out, and even if they don't know what they want, we can always just send them there, and they can kind of browse and things like that. But yeah, 95% of the client base we have, we never meet. We never, we're just messaging or emailing. Occasionally we'll have Zoom calls, but usually that's for very kind of specific projects that they really need to, show us something or kind of hash it out, or just for people that like to talk through stuff or need help. But yeah, we kind of we tried to do a very like inclusive but very easy way for clients to to get in touch and kind of to see what we offer. And even after that, once they place an order, we have what's called our creative brief form. And it's just a online kind of questionnaire form. Takes about 5 minutes for them to fill out. But we've really kind of honed it over the years, and it really gives us all the pieces of information we need to be able to write a script for them, in an easy way for them to be able to do it. But at the same time, we know by now what we need to be able to write the script, and it's not as much as you think, but there are a couple of questions on there that that make them think a little bit.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's zoom out a little bit, because I would love to learn from your expertise overall. Now, a lot of brands, a lot of people in my audience are in the small and medium-sized business space, and they're sometimes in DIY mode when it comes to like creating video content. What would you say? I'll frame this question as, what do a lot of DIYers get wrong about creating video content for their brand recently? Are there a lot of assumptions you're seeing out there, or certain videos you see over and over again that just you think could be done better?
Yeah, so if you would have asked me a year ago, my answer would be different
Interesting.
because about a year ago, I would have said that, if you're doing it the DIY way, just kind of see what other people are doing on TikTok or whatever, and just, start creating content, even if it's just, holding up the phone and talking selfie style to it. But nowadays, we've actually kind of seen a shift in our clients, what they're wanting from video content, because before they wanted all, UGC, user generated content, where it looks very natural and it looks not scripted and things like that. But the feedback that we've gotten is recently, especially in the ad space and things like that, is that videos like that are so oversaturated right now, where if you're scrolling through TikTok, every other video is an ad and they're all like that. And so, uh, consumers they're pretty, they catch on pretty quick. And so if they see it's an ad, and it's just somebody talking to the camera like that, they've been scrolling past. And so what we've been getting feedback from our clients about is that if they're going to be paying for video content, then they want it to be unique, they want it to be creative.
Hmm.
So which is nice for people like us, because when we had to hop on the TikTok bandwagon a few years ago and started making just kind of like, UGC style selfie stuff, it was great, but it wasn't like super creative that we were used to. So now it's kind of flipping back to that way. So so when it comes to people DIYing, I would steer away from just, holding up the phone, doing it selfie style. It doesn't have to be super high budget or high production value, but it just make it, I guess, unique. Think of something unique to your brand. Maybe think of something unique about your product. Show that off rather than just holding up your phone, talking to it. Or hire outside help like us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. Do you, now, I imagine among other things that have changed in the time you've been doing video production is attention spans, and so we've got typically. So I remember when YouTube came out, that was really exciting, and I'd sit and watch this whole video, and then I'd watch the next whole video, and I'm getting older. I've got kids that are teens, and but and they're just scrolling. They watch like a few seconds of a video. How do you create videos that are engaging in that context? Because they're often not watching the whole video, or they're even if they like it, they might not be able to get through more than 30 seconds. How do you create video in this environment where people are just so scattered and like
Yeah.
just scrolling like crazy?
Yeah, so a lot of it, I would say about half of it does have to depend on what platform you're looking to post it on. So, for
Okay.
instance, if a client comes to us, says, we're really wanting to push TikTok, then we'll kind of lean into that. Obviously do a vertical format, and we'll try to kind of get their attention in the first second. Like try to start it off with either imagery or something happening on screen, or something that gets their attention. What we've been doing a lot of recently is we've been doing multiple hooks for client videos. So, for instance, pretty much the back 90% will be the same in, say, let's say we're doing three versions. The back 90% will be exactly the same in all three, but just the first, couple seconds or the first couple lines, those will be different with all three, so that they can A/B test, so they can see, which one is working the best. And especially on TikTok, because TikTok is the most expensive when it comes to ad spend. I think its minimum is like $50 a day. So you really want to see what's working and what's not, to be able to put money towards the thing that is working. But when it comes to like things like YouTube or Facebook, we have a little bit more time, a little more creativity, because especially with YouTube, because people kind of are there to watch, whether that's a an ad going before a video or just a video that they're uploading to their YouTube page. With that, we try to keep it shorter, under 30 seconds, so that if it's going up as an ad, it's not skippable. But yeah, at least within the first 15 seconds, we want to kind of give the viewer something that they're going to be taking away. So, for instance, in our creative brief form, we have one question that is, for your video, if you could say one feature or one takeaway that the user or the viewer is going to see, what do you want it to be? And so, they can give us other details, but we're pretty much asking, what do you want the person to remember about your product or brand, or what's the one thing you want to focus on? And we kind of, focus the video around that, so that, if the video is funny or whatever, at least they're kind of remembering this one thing that, the takeaway.
Okay, no, this is all like gold wisdom. I love it. Now, we in kind of the digital marketing space where I'm working with a lot of marketing automation and ads management, and we're mindful that AI is touching like every aspect of what we're doing. It's affecting it in one way or another. And how is it affecting your niche? Like, are you finding that you're competing with people that are trying to generate AI videos, or do you find people that, conversely, like is the effect of so much AI generated content really helping you?
It kind of depends on who you ask, I guess,
Okay,
because
sure.
on the one side, we get clients that come to us and say, "Hey, I need a 30-second video. Can you help me?" And we chat for a little bit, and they might bring up, well, I can also get this done with AI, so kind of keep that in mind when you're giving me a quote. And we kind of have to explain to them, like, okay, well, none of the things we do is AI. Like, it's our team, and it's all kind of you're getting our experience with it as well, and but then we also get clients that come to us and say, "Hey, we tried using AI, and here is the AI video that it generated, and it's not great. But this is kind of the direction we want to go. Can you kind of make a good version of it?" And we have been getting that recently, which is
Okay.
definitely nice to hear. Recently on our NV Creative YouTube page, we used to do a lot of film review and gear review, kind of for peers, and we recently just flipped it, where now it's going to be focusing more on kind of selling to our clients, and marketing tips, things like that, especially revolving around video marketing. Kind of one asterisk tidbit, that we would kind of recommend is, if you're going to be making videos, make sure you're trying to sell to your customers, not to your peers.
Sure. Right.
But yeah, we have a kind of a series set up that we're still working on, but it's just called Envy versus AI. And pretty much what we're doing is we're kind of taking generic products that we have, and we're making a short commercial for it. And then we're taking that exact same script, exact same everything. And then, there's a lot of video AI generation software out there. And so we're putting it into that. I'm really good at writing prompts. So, and I'm kind of following what the best practices are for getting the best video. And so far, from what we're working on behind the scenes, we haven't posted anything yet, but it's pretty eye-opening, I guess, to not in a good way for the AI, just seeing that it's really not there yet. And so we're kind of doing it more, as a kind of PSA, saying like, "Hey, we took the exact same script, the exact same product, everything else. Here's our version that we make, and here's the AI version," so that they can make the decision themselves.
Yeah. No, I like it. That's very clever. I frequently am up against, the authenticity versus like volume or speed, trying to balance those two decisions. And, I'm finding myself coming more and more onto the authenticity and original content side of things, and just really seeing how, I guess just like we're hit with a tsunami every day in our inbox and on our social media feeds of what's clearly AI generated content that I don't have time to read it. But when I see something that looks a little bit like homemade, I mean, I'm not saying that you're homemade, but it looks like genuine, that catches my eye more so than it did in the past. Well, Mike, this is super interesting, and I think that you have a great offer for people that would be in my audience, and I'd really encourage them to reach out to you. Where can they find you if they'd like to create some content with you?
Sure. So best way is just to go to our website. It's thinkenvy.com. So that's THINKENVY.com. Or if you just Google Envy Creative, we're the top result on everything. So
awesome. Well, thanks so much, Mike. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, Reed.
Want to stay ahead of what's actually working in marketing right now? Head over to MarketSurge.io and see how we're helping businesses grow smarter, faster, and louder. That's MarketSurge.io, because your next breakthrough shouldn't be a guess.